Mercury Rising. From, quote, The Evolution of Magic from Cornfields to Cyberspace, unquote, by Nima, a disciple of Crowley, stated, quote, There is but one gate, though there appear to be 9, mime dancer of the stars, how beautiful thy weft and web, a shimmering in the fire of dark space. The two that are nothing salute you, black flame that moves Hadit. The less and less one grows, the more and more Pranu may manifest. Do thou now speak to us, the children of the time to come. Declare thy will, and grant thy love to us. Then spake she that moves, I hurl up upon ye, children of Heru, all ye who love the law and keep it, keeping not unto yourselves. Are ye a blessed? Ye have sought the scattered pieces of our Lord, ceasing never to assemble all that has been. And in the realm of the dead have ye begotten from the dead the Shining One. Ye then gave birth and nourished him. Thy land of milk shall have the honey also, dropped down as dew by the divine Ganander. The pleasure and delight lie in the working, the whole surpassing far the parts together, unquote. And from that same talk on cybernetics, Nima states, quote, Through a field effect of empathy and telepathy, I can literally feel your pain, you can feel mine, and we can both link with large numbers of others who know how to teach us effective pain management. We filter the input of this telepathic sense. Our familiar physical senses edit the teeming world for our consideration. Total immersion in the species' consciousness is relatively rare, but the global network of human consciousness is available at all times, unquote. It states also on its Facebook page, quote, The Horus Maat Lodge began in 1979, becoming one of the first cybernetic orders in 1994. We manifest the double current of Thelema and the future present crossed Aeon of Ma'at, and also many other arcane traditions worldwide, including chaos magic, unquote. The pleasure and delight lie in the working, the whole, surpassing far the parts together, as I stated, which, of course, is another allusion to the cybernetic global brain future. Quote, Ye have sought the scattered pieces of our Lord, ceasing never to assemble all that has been, and in the realm of the dead have ye begotten from the dead the Shining One. Ye then gave birth and nourished him, unquote. This is in reference to the Osiris story, to which his 14 really, parts were reassembled by Isis. Again she could not find his phallus, and that was the missing part, to which she fashioned a new one out of gold. This is probably where the obelisk symbology comes from. However, it is not a strict symbol of fertility in the deepest meaning of it. Essentially, as we are discussing the hidden part or the 13th zodiac, we understand that like the syringe or the viper's fangs, or other motifs such as this, the missing part is that which pierces the veil of this world and into the next, hence the phallus or obelisk. The hidden part is that which pierces the veil, the Akashic or Sanskrit or etheric records, and that which is beyond us all. Hence, this statement above by Nima is that idea of Lucifer, or the morning star, that which is Venus or potentially Sirius as we understand it. It is that brightest star before the dawn, the illumination of the new horizon, in their thinking. I have touched upon this within my Aleister Crowley, Cicada and Cybernetics video. Now, what I'm about to say will probably blow your mind, but I have been studying this connection as seen above for a while, and it seems I have found a new connection to all of this. Here it goes. As we have Venus or Sirius as the morning star, we also have Mercury as the evening star. Now, this is why Mercury is considered somewhat correlated with death, due to him being the messenger of death, or the guider of souls to Hades. But he was also the god of financial gain and commerce. Now, if we understand that Mercury is death, and Venus is the start of something new, the evening and morning stars, then we shall continue. Alas, how does this factor into the medical event we see now? Well, the old medical symbol was once the staff of Asclepius, which is one snake coiled around a staff, and this was changed, beginning in the USA, at the turn of the 20th century, to the caduceus, or the symbol of Mercury. This change was put down to a severe mistake, yes, a severe mistake by the medical authorities at the time. However, the symbol stuck and they continued to utilise it. Thus, we see that the medical system and Mercury are now entwined through symbolism. What day is the day of Mercury? Wednesday. What day was the day that the WHO officially declared a medical event? Wednesday, 11th of March 2020. What day was Omicron supposedly found? Well, December 22nd was the day when the track and trace were working back from, and this was, you guessed it, a Wednesday. The Delta variant. What day did it blow up within the scientific world? The 14th of October. Guess what day? A Wednesday. What day did the stealth Omicron story hit, or the BA2? The 26th of January 2020. Yes, a Wednesday. What does this mean? Naturally, they see this as an age of night or evening, heralded by Mercury, the evening star. Hence Biden's discussion of the quote-quote dark winter. It is the end of an era, and they seek to bring in the age of the morning star, that of Lucifer, or the Redeemer of worlds, the illumination of 1,000 points of light, the great work, or great reset if you will, the wisdom of the ages and the land of total balance, total equality, whatever that may entail within their twisted thinking. Lo, how they get there is plagued with terrifying insanity, of course. Quote, when Sirius is the morning star to us, it is the morning star to the round world. As sunrise greets in turn, nation after nation westward, so too its herald, the bright and morning star, beams in turn on every land, unquote. It seems that the ancients seemed to see them as the same entities, but they changed deity or name when they appeared in either the shade of the moon or the light of the sun. Quote, Mercury and Venus, there is never such ambiguity, as they are never very far away from the sun in the sky. In fact, in the pre-Christian era, both of these planets had dual identities, two names, as initially it was not realised that they alternately appeared on one side of the sun and then on the other. Mercury was called Apollo when it shone as a morning star, and was called Mercury when it appeared in the evening sky. Venus was Phosphorus in the morning and Hesperus in the evening. We can thank Pythagoras around the 5th century BC for pointing out that Hesperus and Phosphorus were really one and the same. As you can see, death and life, these various dualities like Venus and Hesperus or Mercury and Apollo, are all but the same. Continuing on, we have Sirius though, which is always the morning star, or referred to as such it seems, quote, owing to the flood's own irregularity, the extreme precision of the star's return made it important to the ancient Egyptians, who worshipped it as the goddess Sopdet. This is where the Kabbalistic term Sephiroth probably comes from, Sopdet, Sephiroth, of which then turned into triangle or pyramid within Greek. Sothis, continuing on, which is the guarantor of the fertility of the land, Sirius that is, unquote. So again, a triangle or pyramid, very strange. Manly P. Hall has this to say of the Pyramid of Wisdom, and the rising through it via 7 stages, quote, the ancient Greeks observed that the appearance of Sirius as the morning star heralded the hot and dry summer, and feared that the star caused plants to wilt, men to weaken, and women to become aroused, unquote. Quote, the season following the star's reappearance came to be known as the dog days, unquote. So hence the dog star, Sirius. Quote, if it rose clear, it would portend good fortune. If it was misty or faint, then it foretold or emanated pestilence, unquote. Similar to what we are going through now, maybe. It was said of Plato's initiation by Manly P. Hall into these mysteries of Hermes, of whose spirit resided in Mercury. Hermes being synonymous with the Kemetic Thoth, or Roman Mercury of course, was crucial to this cult of the pursuit and selective transmission of the divine occult wisdom. Quote, W. Marsham Adams calls the Great Pyramid, quote, the house of the hidden places, unquote. Such indeed it was, for it represented the inner sanctuary of Egyptian wisdom. By the Egyptians, the Great Pyramid was associated with Hermes, or Thoth, the god of wisdom and letters, and the divine illuminator, worshipped through the planet Mercury. We have this reoccurring theme, concurrent with Lucifer, or Ahriman. Continuing on, relating Hermes to the pyramid emphasises anew the fact that it was, in reality, the supreme temple of the invisible and supreme deity. The Great Pyramid was not a lighthouse, an observatory or a tomb, but the first temple of the mysteries, the first structure erected as a repository for those secret truths, which are the certain foundation of all arts and sciences. It was the perfect emblem of the microcosm and the macrocosm, and, according to the secret teachings, the tomb of Osiris, the black god of the Nile. We discussed that previously. Osiris represents a certain manifestation of solar energy, and therefore his house or tomb is emblematic of the universe within which he is entombed, and upon the cross of which he is crucified. Through the mystic passageways and chambers of the Great Pyramid, past the illumined of antiquity, they entered its portals as men, they came forth as gods. It was the place of the second birth, the womb of mysteries, and wisdom dwelt in it as God dwells in the hearts of men. Somewhere in the depths of its recesses, there resided an unknown being who was called the Initiator, or the Illustrious One, robed in blue and gold, and bearing in his hand the sevenfold key of eternity. This was the lion-faced Hierophant, the Holy One, the Master of Masters, who never left the House of Wisdom, and whom no man ever saw, save he who had passed through the gates of preparation and purification. It was in these chambers that Plato, he of the broad brow, came face to face with the wisdom of the ages, personified in the Master of the Hidden House, unquote. Secret Teachings of All Ages, page 112 to 113. On this point of the lion-faced Hierophant, we have the idea of the Mithraic Leontocephaline, which later developed into the Baphomet. Again, Leontocephaline is simply the lion-faced god, which is equivalent to the lion-faced Hierophant. Moreover, we have the idea of through the gates of preparation and purification. This was something again that was seen within the Eleusinian mysteries and the Pythagorean cult, of which differed somewhat between their ideas of individualism and the collective essence. However, this preparation and purification is typically what we are going through now. Alchemy has a similar idea, of which I discussed and touched upon within my Kabbalah series, that idea of putrefaction and purification, that one has to die to then be reborn anew. The same motif occurs and reoccurs within every religion known to man, most assuredly that of the Abrahamic religions. For example, Muhammad went into a cave, into the darkness, into Hades, and re-emerged as a prophet, a living god and messenger of the gods, of which Hermes was. Moreover, too, we have Christ, who was crucified and resurrected, of whom died, went into the eternal abyss, and then was reborn anew or resurrected, pushing away the stone and leaving the cave. We see the same thing within Plato's the cave analogy, and you see this probably stemmed from his initiation into the mystery schools. Continuing on, clearly, Mercury has a role to play within this occult plan. It may be that the pagan mysteries never ceased. They merely donned the robes of the Christian priest rather than the pagan divinator. We see that in the Secret Teaching of All Ages, that it states, quote, when placed in the centre of a weather vane, it signifies the sun in the midst of the four corners of creation. The Greeks sacrificed a rooster to the gods at the time of entering the Eleusinian mysteries. Sir Francis Bacon is supposed to have died as the result of stuffing a fowl with snow. May this not signify Bacon's initiation into the pagan mysteries, which still existed in his day? Unquote. Peculiar, but it may show that all of these various religions are but incarnations of the one originating religion, though we can only speculate on such a matter. On the final topic, we see that the truck convoy head into Ottawa and seemingly appearing around the world, from the Netherlands to Germany and Italy, and with a further increasing of supply chain issue stories, like the driver testing issue that is causing heavy good truck congestion on borders. It seems that this is leading to the narrative for the driverless trucks, controlled by AI presumably. Naturally, this is why Elon Musk came out in support of the Canadian truckers or the Freedom Convoy on Twitter. It suits his interests for driverless Tesla trucks. It is the same old tactic one always uses upon their enemies, the same one used on January 6th, to retreat, like Trudeau has done, to then embolden the attackers and entice them into a trap, leading them to believe that they are winning the battle, to inevitably lay waste to them in the kill zone prepared. Like the lemons that they are, they fall for this and follow the herd, all the way over the precipice. With a great deal of strange symbology too, within this entire event, along with the huge amounts of donations on GoFundMe, and that same GoFundMe page set up by individuals that are within the political system to a certain degree, and the tacit permittance of this via the Ottawa police force, of which, in any other setting, would violently disperse these crowds, as we see throughout the ostensible quote-quote free world. In other words, this looks like the setting up of a problem. As I have stated in other videos, the number 222 is very important to this entire hermetically derived religion, and 2022 or February the 2nd, 2022 is a date to watch out for, I would suggest, and to that I believe this event may have something to do with that. Recall too, 2022 shall be a Wednesday after all, and Wednesdays seem to be somewhat significant to the arc of this narrative thus far.